On today's video, we are in the mangroves somewhere in the state of Florida, and what we're about to show you is shocking. To protect the identity of these people that are living back here in these situations, we're not going to tell you guys what county this is in, but judging by the fact we are in the mangroves, and it is here in these mangroves, these are protected natural habitats, that we have homeless encampments like this in these woods. Are also people who are very ingenious. Clearly they're not drug addicts. These are people who just don't have a place to live, and they've created a place to live in the mangroves. The more restrictions there are on homelessness in Florida, the further into the woods the homeless will be forced. So in today's video, we're going to take a journey into an isolated area deep into the woods where the homeless are living in improvised homeless camps in the mangroves. Despite how far into the woods these homeless camps are, chances are law enforcement knows they exist. To get into today's homeless camps, we've had to trek through an unparalleled amount of hardship. After a rain or during high tide, these homeless camps are completely inaccessible. Hidden deep in the woods of Florida. You can see there's a bridge going that way. You guys can see we are in the swamps, in the mangroves. Look at all the flies and mosquitoes. It looks like it's abandoned right now. I don't think there's anybody back here. Wow. Between the heat and the mosquitoes, this is just unbearable. Now I'm wearing heavy duty clothes from head to toe, and the only thing exposed is my hands and my face. But the amount of mosquitoes back here is just insane. I think this camp might be abandoned. It doesn't look fresh. But what's crazy about this spot, guys, just trying to catch my breath between crawling through all the woods to get out here and now being eaten alive by mosquitoes while I'm talking to you, is that the hardships that these people must pass through to live in these swamps, this is absolutely not where you want to live. There's flies, horse flies. There's just an incredible assortment of like mosquitoes and no-see-ums that are biting you every second. So living here has to be an absolute nightmare. The people that are living in these homeless camps in these conditions, this is absolutely difficult. This isn't an easy life. It's hot. You're literally near the water, so the humidity, it's like a multiplying effect on the humidity. You're in a swamp. Obviously, if there's a storm surge, that the storm surge would reach this area, and this would be underwater. So let's take a look around what's going on here. Now, you can see that there's just drying blankets and stuff over this way. I do believe that this spot is abandoned. Haven't seen any needles or anything like that of this sort so far. But living here would have to be extraordinarily difficult for a few reasons. Particularly the fact that you're literally in a swamp in the mangroves. You can see that they have a system here to catch water. And of course, I'm going to guess that's because out here, there's no fresh water. The water is salt water. So to catch fresh water, they would have to implement something of that sort. I wish there was somebody here that we could interview, but it doesn't look like there's anybody here right now. Living back here has to be absolutely, and there's more camps I can see already over this way, are pushing further and further into areas that are more and more inaccessible. And now they're at the point where they're literally living in the mangroves. It's forced the homeless deeper and deeper. And now they're at the point where the homeless are literally living in the mangroves. Now these are areas that are mostly inaccessible. Very difficult to access areas. Very dangerous conditions to live in. But as you guys can see, the amount of mosquitoes in these swamps, it's unbearable. I mean, just being back here for a few minutes, this is miserable. So law enforcement forces the homeless people further and further from civilization. Sorry if the camera's shaking, I just can't keep the mosquitoes off me. In the daytime, it would be impossible to be here. These people would have to come here at night You can see that they had a mosquito net here that got torn, and this mosquito net would have most likely prevented, mosquitoes from coming in here to a degree. I'm going to take the freedom of coming back in here. This is extraordinarily dangerous because if they come in, this is their camp, they're going to assume we're stealing from them, and who knows what type of action they could take against us. But you can see back here, they have mosquito nets set up. They have kind of a shelf, I don't see any. Look at all these mosquitoes, guys. Are you guys seeing this? Look at this. Look at the amount of mosquitoes that are in here. Are you guys seeing this? Look at this. Look at how many mosquitoes are in here. So living here would be absolutely miserable. You can see that right there. They have a baseball bat for protection in case somebody were to try to break in. And they have, this is like layers of, like you have this area here behind the net where they have this mosquito net and then they have that mosquito net. So you can see they have 2 layers of mosquito nets. So that when they come back here to sleep, they don't have to worry about. And also they have a hammer and an axe here. So if we got caught, whoever has this tent here, if we got caught here, there's no doubt about it, they're going to come at you with weapons. This is the reality of Florida. There's a liquor bottle there, but that's not excessive. It's just so nerve-wracking. In the state of Florida, mangroves are protected. And you can see here, the start of the mangroves. And like I said, in the state of Florida, mangroves are protected. So it's not something you can just... The red tide is a naturally occurring algae bloom, but over the last few years in Florida, it's been tremendously massive. And unfortunately, there's no doubt that sites like this, and I would assume there may be hundreds of camps like this. Coming through. Super dangerous. There's somebody in the woods, and they're not showing their face. They're just kind of stalking us and watching us. So this is kind of dangerous because we have somebody that's kind of stalking us right now. They're not showing their face. I can hear them. They can hear me, but they're just skirmishing through the woods, and they could be trying to ambush us. Now, the other horrendous thing about this homeless camp is you can smell it for about half a mile. The problem with this particular homeless camp, to be honest, is that you can actually smell it from one of the major roads. Particularly at nighttime, when you're driving, you can actually smell this homeless camp from a major road. And you always wonder, you can smell the homeless camp, but you can't see it. And you think to yourself, there's no way people are actually living in the mangroves. Unfortunately, the truth is that there are people living in the mangroves. Obviously now, the homeless are pushing deeper and deeper into the mangroves and protected wildlife areas. And with these new laws that are coming to the state of Florida, the homeless are going to be more and more inclined to live in places like this. The chances that they can contact a disease of some sort, infections from the mosquito bites and stuff like that. I mean, living back here is absolutely crazy now. But many times when people get their hands on RX, they'll order amoxicillin to kind of play it off. But at the end of the day, a lot of times the amoxicillin is kind of because when they get their hands on it, they'll also get some antibiotics to go along with it to play it off, and that way they can get the prescriptions. There's a little bridge there that looks very precarious. But as you can see, garbage all into these protected mangrove areas. There could easily be alligators here. This is after all, a swamp. And cool. And if we can just cross this little improvised bridge, now we enter another trail. And I'm gonna guess back this way is probably where they have their bathroom. Now you can probably hear the mosquitoes swimming around me. It's completely just. So we're past this precarious bridge, and we're gonna keep moving further to these swamps. But basically, what we are at now is just trails that go through the woods. Back in the day in Florida, they built a lot of these kind of canals in the mangroves, and then they were all abandoned. But guys, you can probably hear it in my voice, just out of breath. Wow, the heat. I'm geared up to keep the mosquitoes off me, and it just makes it even hotter. The heat, the humidity, the mosquitoes. I'm super out of breath. Those gators, all the animals you could think of. After all, you are in a mangrove swamp. In fact, mangroves don't only have alligators, but they also have American crocodiles. I don't know if you guys can hear the mosquitoes swarming around me, but it's unbearable. They're just driving me nuts. And while there are bridges here, we have to be careful because some of these bridges could be booby-trapped. So right now, it's low tide. So all this is fairly accessible. So to think that these people now that are homeless in Florida are going to face stricter laws about sleeping in public and in empty lots near the urban areas simply denotes that the homeless in Florida are going to be pushed further and further into places like this. Now I can see up ahead another camp. Hot humid coming through. If there's somebody here, I want them to know we're here. Wow, this is insane. Anybody here? Coming through. Wow, this is a city back here. Unbelievable. What on earth? Very clean. This is like a military barrack. Wow. Boy, have we stumbled into something. You can see the solar panels here. Coming through. What on earth is this? Oh, the horse flies. Dude, this is absolutely insane. They have a workout station. They have electricity somehow. There's propane tanks running. This is, how is this? This is, I'm not going to go in there because I don't want to actually go in there. This is way too dangerous. You can see there's actually electricity out here. This is hidden very deep in the woods. You can see there's crabs running around. Obviously, I don't know what type of structure this is. It's not dirty at all. You can see they have camouflage tarps to hide it from the top. This is a primitive fishing camp. There should be access to a beach somewhere from here, like a secret beach. It's very clean. Again, we cannot go near it. In there. You can see solar panels. There is electricity. There's propane tanks. So this is a completely functioning. Somebody's living here. Somebody is living here clandestinely. I don't know if this site is abandoned right now, but there are propane tanks. Let's see if we can find a beach. Obviously, the danger aspect of being back here, I have no idea. Whoever has this camp, they've taken the freedom to make it real nice. This is like something you'd see in a movie. This is like what people would have lived like in Florida 200 years ago. I'm gonna guess there's people living back here. This is too clean, too organized to not be legitimate. Like, there's gotta be people back here. It's not abandoned. We're not gonna go anywhere near their camps, but you can see 2 camps here. I'm going to guess there has to be a beach somewhere where they can get access to water to swim in. We're not going to go anywhere near their stuff, though. We got to stay far from their stuff. This has got to be one of the craziest things I've ever seen in Florida. How clean and neat this is. These are not junkies. This might even be private property. I don't know. I looked at county property when I looked at it on the maps. But guys, so we're not talking about your typical crackhead junkies. Dude, this is a real camp. This is somebody who, they have the tarps that are the same color as the ground to hide it. I mean, this is super secret compound back here. Now, I'm not going to go deeper into this stuff because, to be honest, getting back here was precarious. And once in a while you just hear something, and I don't know if it's a person running through the woods. I don't know if it's a raccoon running away from me or an alligator or whatever. But I'm going to guess that somehow Here's the toilet right here, guys. So you can see right here the toilet. That's the toilet right there. Now, I don't know if there's people back here that are stalking me. Every once in a while, I hear stuff darting to the woods. This is just absolutely mind-boggling that this exists. So we're gonna go ahead and leave. This is intimidating because how far away we are. We just happened to hit the right trails to find this randomly. I mean, this isn't your typical junkhead, crackhead camp. This is like a real compound. And I'm sure whoever lives back here protects it dearly. The trails to get in here were not easily accessible. They were kind of, well, but if you've ever explored Florida, and you've wondered what exactly, what is in the woods, in the mangroves, but now the homeless in Florida are in the mangroves. And as you can see here, we're talking about, I see a speaker box, I see some propane tanks, I see some military clothing, I see some artisanal weight benches here. I mean, look at this. This is an artisanal weight bench.
He's like all angry.
Yeah, he was all angry, but I didn't see him either.
I don't care. I had the right
You did have the right of way, yeah.
What? Yeah.
You did have the right of way.